guys, sorry I've been super busy with school, so that's why I haven't had the chance to make any videos. This is going to be, hopefully it's going to be a quick video. Jeff asked me to make this because he's contemplating over D700, D800, so I promised him that I would make him a quick video on this new D800 that just came out. I don't want to go into talk about like specs because anyone can just go to B&H's website and just look at the specs. I'll just touch the basic stuff. The main thing that I want to talk about is I want to compare this with D700 and and tell you if this is good for wedding photography or not, or if it's good for studio, landscape, that kind of stuff. I watched videos that Fro made, Dom Bauer made. I'm actually on the same page with Dom on this, and I'll tell you guys why. Alright, first thing, ISO, in your normal mode it's 100 to 6400. ISO was the one thing that everyone was basically looking for, because everyone needs that super great ISO performance for your low light situation. I was really waiting for this camera to come out because I too was really interested, and I'll tell you why I've decided to pass on this. Alright, so ISO is 100 to 6400. The only thing we don't know right now if how great that ISO quality is going to be, because D700 was 200 to 6400 in your regular mode, but that does not mean that you can actually use 6400 ISO and it's going to be like usable and give you sharp pictures. Not necessarily. So it all depends. I don't know with this 36 megapixel how the ISO performance it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be better than D700. I highly doubt that. Again, we'll have to actually use the camera and then we'll be able to tell the difference. Alright, the screen size is slightly bigger, it's 3.2 inches. One really interesting thing that I watched in one of the Nikon's videos, the rep was talking about this, maybe I did not hear it right. The LCD screen has some sort of sensor in it that it adjusts automatically to the light. So I'm not sure what they're talking about, because if this will somehow get rid of the reflection when you're shooting outdoors, then it would be huge. Because right now, I actually carry like an LCD viewfinder. Like if I'm doing a shoot on a sunny day, I look through my viewfinder just to double check my exposure. But if I don't need that, it would be a huge thing. I mean, I'm not gonna get this camera, so I'm not talking about myself. But landscape photographer, I think it's gonna be good for them when they're shooting outdoors and the light's falling on the LCD screen. Kind of funny. 4 frames per second. Everyone's talking about like it's really slow, really slow. Yes, it is slower than D700, but it's still 4 frames per second. I mean, I don't spray and pray, so for me 4 or 6, and I'm not a sports photographer, and obviously you're not going to use this camera for sports photography. So 4 frames per second is decent in my opinion. If you need anything faster for your sports photography, then you're definitely looking at the wrong camera. You want to look towards D3S or D4. Alright, 100% viewfinder, that's a big plus in my opinion. So what you basically see through your viewfinder is what you actually capture. With D700 it was, I believe it was 95%. So 100% is a good thing. Video thing, 1080p, I don't think D700 had any video, and D3 I believe had 720. I could be wrong, I'm not 100%. And with 720p in this D800, you can shoot up to 50 to 60 frames per second, which is great. I mean, normally Canon basically had the edge on the video side, but I think this will definitely be a big plus for Nikon. You can shoot up to 900 shots with per battery charge, which is huge. And if you attach your battery grip, then obviously it's going to be a couple thousand. Dual card slots, which is huge. Big plus in my opinion. You have your SD and you have your compact flash. Alright, and yes, pop-up flash can also trigger different, your flashes. So you can use this as the commander, which I believe is good if you're doing it's okay if you're doing studio work, but for outdoor stuff, you want to use your flash triggers. All right, so D700 or D800, you have to first find out. In my opinion, these two cameras are for different markets. In my opinion, D800 I think it's going to be excellent for macro photographers because 36 megapixel is huge. You can actually crop the picture and still maintain that resolution. Okay, it's going to be great for studio stuff because, and when I say studio, I'm not talking about family portraits. Keep in mind, studio stuff I'm talking about is fashion stuff where you have to, get huge prints for, promotion or posters, anything like that. So for fashion stuff, this is huge because, especially if you're just entering into fashion photography and you're at a decent level, this would be a great camera for you. Instead of, you could either drop 20 grand on Hasselblad, which most people rent, or you could drop 3 grand on this, and with pro lenses you're going to get excellent results. So it's great for your studio stuff, great for macro photographers, and for landscape as well. 36, again, it's going to give you great resolution. All right, so Fro mentioned that this would be a good camera for wedding photography, and I respectfully disagree, and I'll tell you why. All right, when we do weddings, low light is always an issue, especially when you're shooting in big churches. Problem is that sometimes some churches don't allow you to use any flash. I've shot in some of the biggest churches in New Jersey, and there's always some problem that you run into. And if you can't do a proper, your light setup there, you have to solely rely on your camera body, so you can increase your ISO to get you over your minimum shutter speed so you can take some shots. So you have 36 megapixels crammed into this body with 1080p video. Again, when the camera comes out, we'll have to test it, but I believe, as of right now, that it will not give you better ISO performance than D700. So it's gonna be a challenge. It's just like D3X and D3S. The D3S is a beast when it comes to ISO performance, whereas the D3X is giving you the megapixel, but it's not giving you that great ISO performance that D3S is giving you. So with D800, you got the megapixel, you got the videos and everything. I just don't think the ISO is gonna be phenomenal, like everyone is expecting or expected. Just because it's 1000 to 6400, that does not mean that ISO 6400 is useful. What's the ISO range on D7000? I believe it is down 100 to 6400. You cannot use 6400 ISO on D7000. Matter of fact, you cannot even use ISO 2000 in a church with D7000. You would have to use you would have to do set up strobe or something. So that's where you're gonna get killed, ISO performance wise. And for weddings and events, you really have to prepare for like the worst situation possible. And one of the reasons why I'm passing on the camera is because of that. I'm going with D3S. I could go for D4. I think it's going to be overkill for me. And the difference is going to be more than $1,000 now. It's not 800 anymore because the price of D3S has dropped. So for wedding photography, you really have to be prepared for like really low light situation. So I don't think the 800 is going to perform as well as some of the other full frame sensor cameras. Another issue is the 36 megapixel. The file size is going to be huge. There's some conflicting information out there. Some people are saying it's going to be 40 megabyte file size. Some are saying, and I can quote what digital camera, they do a lot of product reviews. They're claiming it's going to be 75 megabyte file. One thing we do know, that if you convert the RAW into TIFF, the file size is going to be close to 200 megabyte. That is enormous. So sure, storage is cheap, but you gotta understand that not everyone has 12 megabyte RAM in their computer. So you may have to upgrade your entire system just for this camera. So if you're a wedding photographer, they should be concerned because come springtime, summertime, you're doing a lot of weddings. You're shooting thousands and thousands of pictures, and with that kind of file size, I don't know how manageable it's going to be. It's a great camera. It's a great camera. I even like the price. $3,000 is not bad at all. But it's for a different market. It's a different market, and I am not in that market, and that's the only reason why I'm passing on this. I do mostly weddings, events, kids, newborn, outdoor family portraits, and my clients don't need 36 megapixel resolution. Now, if I ever get into fashion photography, sure, I'll definitely consider it. But for right now, I need the ISO performance, which I don't believe this camera with all this stuff inside is going to give you. In the past, I pretty much passed on weddings where I knew I had absolutely no shot. If the pre says you can't do flash and the lighting is just not good, I have no shot at it. So for that purpose only, I'm going with D3S. I'm overdue for an upgrade, and I think D3S is going to be an excellent camera for me for such situation. I believe D700 is going to give you excellent ISO performance. The reason why I don't like to make bold claims is because you can't go by specs. You have to test the camera and then compare the two images and see if the ISO performance of D700 is superior than D800. Alright, so that pretty much sums everything up. This is how I feel, and I'll post a link of Don Bauer's video, his thoughts, his opinion on the camera in the bottom, and also another link, a video made from D800. So check out both links, and hope all is well. Please don't think that I'm not doing anything. Here's a list of all the tutorials or photography topics that I've been basically just writing them down, and as soon as I have time, I'm going to start doing everything again. This does not even include any of the strobist tutorial, by the way. No wedding, none of that. So if I add all that to it, it's going to be well over 100 videos. Just this alone here is 50 topics, basically. All right, so hope all is well, and I'll see you guys around.